Today we're going to be revisiting Eternal Magic and seeing just how much of a difference it can make to your build. Let's go. So Eternal Gear, this is something that I've not really seen people talk about for quite some time, but what Eternal Gear is it's gear with the skill-based magic. So this one, for example, has Slow Time and Black Hole as well. Now, the Eternal Gear does stack. So Black Hole, as you can see, it says I've got 4 out of 4 of that. So it emits arcane missiles from its center that attack random enemies, dealing 7,511 damage. So you get that 4 times. So that does stack. Slow time effects remain on any enemy for 1.5 seconds after they leave the affected area, and I've got 2 out of 4 of that, so again that stacks. Now, to look at the different Eternal Magic, you can go to item crafting here, and it will actually show you, when you click on the little tooltip, it shows you the special magic attributes that you can get on these. Now, I don't know if Blizzard even refer to this as Eternal Gear anymore, but that is how it was originally introduced to the game. So when I'm talking about Eternal Gear, I'm talking about the gear that has the skill-based damage. So different skill-based damage, or different skill-based attributes, should I say, are available on certain items. So you can see right now, looking at the helm, you can get Arcane Torrent, Arcane Wind, Ice Crystal, Lightning Nova, Frostfield, or Black Hole. And it also shows you for all the other classes. So you can look at all classes here. If you're looking to swap class, you can work out obviously what Eternal Gear you would want for each slot. So on the helm, we've got Arcane Torrent, conjures 1 Arcane Bolt to orbit around you, dealing 9,664 damage. We've got Ice Crystal, refracts 1 additional ray from beam attacks. Frostfield, conjure an Icy Whirlwind for 3 seconds, chilling enemies, dealing an additional 5,409 damage per second. Arcane Wind, ranges increased by 8%. Lightning Nova increases your attack speed by 8% for 3 seconds. And Black Hole emits arcane missiles from its center that attack random enemies, dealing 7,511 damage. So what I was getting at here is that the Eternal Gear, or what I want to show in this video, is that the Eternal Gear is really strong. So you can see on what we're looking at now, shoulders, you've got some different essences or different magic attributes, should I say, for different skills. So here we've got Disintegrate and Ray of Frost. So Disintegrate fires 1 additional beam in a wide angle. Enemies struck by multiple beams will only be damaged by 1. Ray of Frost fires 1 additional beam in a wide angle. Enemies struck by multiple beams will only be damaged by 1. So you'll notice that you cannot specifically get all of the magic attributes from the specific skills that you want on each item. So for example, you might want to get 4 pieces of the Lightning Nova, but you cannot gain that from the shoulder. So you can go through and find each gear what it gives you. So if you're looking for specific Eternal Magic, specific skill-based magic, then go through on the crafting menu and work out which piece you need to actually craft for your class based on obviously the magic attributes that are available there. So yeah, just use that tooltip here to find exactly which one you're looking for. So I'm going to show you the difference it actually makes from having the Eternal Magic active. So as you saw, I have 4 out of 4 on Black Hole. Now this is really, really powerful in this build. So we're going to test this on the dummy in the training ground, because this is the easiest place to actually show you a proper comparison. We're going to test this with 4 out of 4, and then I'm actually going to just swap some of my gear around. We'll go for highest combat rating or something, and we'll check it again. I'll try and go for gear that is the closest to this with regards to the same kind of attributes. Obviously critical hit damage, skill damage, etc. So let's firstly test this with the 4 out of 4 Black Hole. So you can see how the Black Hole's working. It kind of explodes, and it has arcane missiles that come out of it as well. It's hard to see when I'm landing it this close on the dummy. There's one that I landed behind, but you can see the arcane missiles were still firing directly at the dummy. So this just gives you an idea of exactly how that works, and we'll check the damage with 4 out of 4, and then I'll maybe remove 2 pieces of it depending on what gear I've got in my stash, and we'll test it again so that we can see how much of a difference it actually makes having those magic attributes for each skill. Now I'm not going to necessarily get the highest damage here. The highest damage that I can do on the dummy with this build is around 1.1 billion per second, but obviously sometimes you have misclicks and My hands are really cold today because it's literally been like -1 last night, and it's currently 3 degrees right now in the UK. So my thumbs are really slow at actually activating the skills today. So yeah, there we go. In 1 minute, we've got 975 million damage. Now, when we look at breakdown, you can see 360 million damage is coming just from Black Hole. So that's the numbers that we need to remember. We need to remember 360 million for Black Hole and 975 million overall. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look in my stash and look at swapping some of the gear out. So obviously we don't have Black Hole on the main hand, so there's no point looking for that. Let's look for, it doesn't even look like I've got any upgrades. Oh, I have got some upgrades here. So that one has still got Black Hole. This one hasn't. So we're going to go for this one instead of this Black Hole. And this one, let's just switch slot. So both my offhands have slow time as well as Black Hole. It's not really slow time that I'm specifically looking at here, but we'll obviously have to replace that as well. So let's remove this gear. We'll equip that in a minute. I haven't got that many gear pieces in my stash, guys, as you can see. Let's have a look at the shoulders. Have we got anything with a similar combat rating? That's got Black Hole as well. To be fair, I've probably kept most of the ones with the Black Hole magic. Okay, this one has Arcane Torrent, although... Okay, it's a lot lower though, combat rating. I don't know why I still have that. Black Hole and Ice Crystal, Black Hole, and I don't really want to reforge Black Hole out. Let's look at the helms. Actually, we can go for my Ancient Helm because I know that that has not got Black Hole. So we'll try with just 2 pieces of Black Hole. And we'll see how much of a difference it makes only having 2 pieces of that active. Because I think we're going to see a significant drop in the damage here. So you can see I've got 2 out of 4 Black Hole and I've got 1 out of 4 on slow time. So we've dropped 50% of the slow time effects and 50% of the Black Hole effects that's coming from the Eternal Magic. Now I have increased here on my stats because you can see I've got skill damage increase, critical hit chance increase, and critical hit damage increase. Whereas from what I had equipped, I just had primary attack damage increase. I don't even know why I have that, probably because I reforged Black Hole in, and critical hit chance. So yeah, I've dropped the critical hit chance, but I'm gaining critical hit damage and skill damage. So it could be interesting to see the difference here. Now I've got this Demon Hunter attacking both dummies, so I'm going to have to wait until they've stopped so that I can actually test this properly. You can see that there's still an effect on the dummy, so I'm not going to be able to actually attack that. You can see at the very bottom of the screen, it's still got a bleed active. This is the only issue, and it's something that I know some of the other Diablo creators have actually asked if we can have a private training ground for this kind of thing, because there's nothing worse than trying to test on a frigging dummy and it's got someone else that comes along and starts attacking it, or they've got debuffs that are active on it. So anyway, taking a look again, we've got to beat 360 million for Black Hole and we've got to beat 975 million total damage. We're going to be testing the exact same build. All we're doing is swapping out to the 2 pieces of Eternal Magic instead of 4. So let's give it a go. I'm trying to stand in the exact same area that I was before. And we'll see how much of a difference it makes having this lower amount of the Eternal Magic. I think to begin with it's not going to look that different, but I think over the 1 minute is where we're going to see an actual difference from it. I need to try and place one of these Black Holes slightly off as well, because obviously I did have, there we go, I did have one that didn't hit last time, so just to make it as fair as possible. And as I said, I'm a little bit slow with this today, with this build, because I have really cold hands from the weather. What is the weather doing where you guys are? I know that it's got cold in a few different parts of Europe. We seem to have just suddenly gone from like sunshine to rain and now like freezing cold weather. It's really changed quickly over the last 2 days. Yesterday was actually really nice, and then today has just gone trash. We had like icy rain and then yeah, just freezing cold. So here we go, we've got 1 minute. You can see already the difference it makes having this Eternal gear. Look at that, 737 million. This is why when I make my build videos, I try and highlight the importance of having certain things like that Eternal Magic. So let's look at the breakdown. Ooh, okay, a huge drop in the Black Hole magic. So I think it was 350 million, something like that. I've already forgotten because my brain is not braining again today. But that's a huge drop in the actual Black Hole magic there. or black hole damage, sorry, and a huge drop in the total damage. So the total damage obviously is, yeah, over 200 million less. And yeah, it's just huge. This just, as I said, completely highlights the importance of Eternal Gear, which is why I wanted to make this video. I've used Eternal Gear previously in my wizard farming build, which I've shown you in another video, and I kind of highlighted the importance of using 4 out of 4 Arcane Torrent for that. That still stands in that build. If you want to have higher damage from it, you need to be using the 4 out of 4 Arcane Torrent, and in this build you definitely need to be using the 4 out of 4 Black Hole, which is exactly what I wanted to make this video. But yeah, Eternal Gear is was the original name for it. I don't know if they still refer to it as that, but yeah, look for the magic attributes for the specific skills you're using in your build. Try and stack them if you can. Obviously the Black Hole one, the Slow Time one doesn't really work with the what's it called, temporal flux essence, but it does work with some of the other slow time essences, so you can still get more damage from that. Teleport is really nice. I really like to try and get that in my PvP build. The cooldown reduced by 0.02 seconds for every yard traveled, so obviously that can stack up to 0.08 seconds. And yeah, the Eternal Magic, as I said, it does stack for each skill, so if you go for 4 out of 4, you're going to get the maximum damage increase that you can get from that specific skill being on, or that specific magic attribute being on your gear. So yeah, that is it from me for this video. I hope you found this helpful, useful. It might be more beneficial for those that are new to Diablo Immortal, or those that don't really look into builds too much. But yeah, go for that magic, go for the Eternal Magic on your gear, and you should see a huge increase in your damage. Let me know if you do test this out on the builds that you're using. Let me know in the comments and see if you get an increase. Doesn't matter what class you play, this applies to every single class. But I just wanted to highlight how much of a difference it can actually make when it is actually a damage-based skill magic. So yeah, hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Official Diablo Partner.